Marks a decade since tons of coal ash spilled from a Duke power plant right into the Dan River. That failure is forcing the utility company to clean up and close its coal ash storage pits, including this one in Person County. WRAL's Matt Tallhelm takes us on a tour of that site, where Duke Energy now wants to replace the coal-fired plant with not one, but two natural gas power plants.
This is what that dusty coal ash looks like. It's what's left behind after it's burned off to create power for us at the plant behind me here. It's all brought over to this landfill. We're standing on top of that landfill 140 feet above the ground and above that coal-fired power plant Duke Energy wants to close.
Layers of a sooty-looking soil create an almost moon-like surface on this site where excavators dig up the blackened dirt and cart it away. This is one of two coal ash storage basins at Duke Energy's Roxboro power plant.
That was the best practice decades ago when these plants were built. We now have safer practices.
Those safer practices are in place after this disaster a decade ago. 39,000 tons of coal ash from a different Duke Energy plant spilled into the Dan River. A $1 billion settlement requires the company clean up and close its remaining basins. 2 million tons of coal ash from the Roxboro basins are now in this double-lined landfill. There are 15 million tons more to go, plus the ash that continues to pile up from the coal-fired power plant.
It does produce waste, and we are in the middle of a clean energy transition.
That transition is why Duke Energy wants to shut down this plant and replace it with two natural gas-fueled plants. The utility says North Carolina's growth will require 8 times more power at peak demand than the company's own projections just 2 years ago.
Critics would say, we've spent a lot of money and a lot of years cleaning all of this up. Now you want us to pay for 2 new power plants. What would you say to those critics, those customers footing the bills?
We need power sources that are 24/7 around the clock. So it's a mix, balancing reliability, affordability, while getting cleaner.
If state regulators approve the new plants, Duke Energy says they could be up and running by 2028 and 2030. The coal-powered plant would become a thing of the past 3 years later. Matt Tallhelm, WRAL News, Person County.
The Environmental Defense Fund is calling on state regulators to require Duke control costs for its customers. In this statement, its director says this plan is tripling down on the coal to gas transition, saddling customers with risky investments in new polluting power plants and failing to deliver the clean energy future called for in state law.